So now we're going to get into our spoiler edition. Warning, spoiler, spoiler, blinky lights, spoiler, spoiler. Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to get into our spoiler talk of Alien Covenant. Holy fuck, everyone died.
Fucking pretty much. Shocker.
Oh, wow. Who knew that pretty much half these or not even half, like 7/8 of these motherfuckers were going to be fodder?
Yeah. I was actually surprised that 2 of them technically lived.
Oh, yeah,
Except
I know.
For now.
I know. Usually it's got to be one lone,
right.
lone person and then a kid somewhere.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to talk about the visual effects in this, and I wanted to get a little bit more into detail about the visual effects of all this. Fuck, when the aliens first started appearing, when they were busting out, we had a spine, usually it's a chest burster.
Right.
We had a spine buster in this one, or burster, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that sequence, which is, you can see, there is a couple clips released of this.
Yeah, it's in the trailer, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and it shows the guy convulsing like a motherfucker, and it blows out of his back. And that's when it really gets, there is a decent amount of blood in that one.
Yeah,
the blood just comes raining out of that dude.
Well, and then they're like slipping on it and stuff. I'm like, pay attention, damn it.
It just reminded me, okay, so I'm trying to start off with the positives first, but I'm going to go, because of that, you brought that up. These motherfuckers were idiots. First crew I have ever seen. How could I know someone eventually is going to be able to get the copy, or when they get it in digital, they're gonna put that fucking like Three Stooges music, or that that fucking music or whatever during that whole sequence where they're just slipping on the blood, shooting random places. Then she shoots the alien and blows the whole thing up. It's like
really the brightest.
Yeah. Oh.
So it was kind of weird. Like the future does not look promising. No.
If that's the leaders, if that's our leaders of this colony,
we are fucked.
Humanity is gone. Maybe that was David's point the whole time.
Probably.
he saw this cast. The lore gets reeled back quite a bit in this movie, and it explains a lot of what happens in the Alien universe. Like it's basically saying, and I'm just kind of jumping all over the place at this point, and we will get back into positives, I swear. But it basically was saying,
that was a quick transition. All right, to the negatives.
It was basically saying the xenomorphs that, as we know it for the most part, the face huggers, that whole setup was all manufactured by a robot that had too much time on his hands.
Yeah, pretty much.
10 years.
Well put.
10 years, and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep fucking with this shit. I'm gonna keep fucking with that, and bammo, this is where
because I can't die. Yeah, basically.
And wham, he's got his own. He makes the aliens that we kind of know today.
Yeah,
the face huggers.
I wasn't sure how I felt about the storyline. Even leaving it, I was like, man, it's an interesting concept, but of like where the origin of them came from. But it was still, I just wasn't sure. It's hard to like touch on, like right. even trying to vocalize it right now on a fucking podcast is frustrating, because you're like, okay, that's interesting, like that's the best way that I can put it. Kind of gets your wheels turning a little bit, like, okay, I guess that kind of works. But it's also, like you said, it's just a AI with way too much fucking time on his hands.
Yeah. I mean, Prometheus introduced it as kind of a bioweapon. And that's what I really liked about it, because it's like, that makes sense, because it's kind of like a parasite.
Yeah.
It takes over hosts and destroys the host to order to thrive. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is a cool concept.
Because that was the whole point, was that these engineers got pissed off at, I know you haven't seen Prometheus, so spoiler.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
But
I anticipated it.
But the engineers for some reason, they create humanity, and then and basically, if you haven't seen Prometheus, and for some reason have seen this,
who would do that?
The engineers, they leave an engineer on the planet Earth a long time ago, when the Earth was just forming, and he drinks something, he dies, he falls into the water, and his genetic material starts building life inside the water, because his DNA is strewed out throughout the water.
Okay, I remember seeing that.
That's kind of what starts life. Is it the genetic material that's introduced into the water, into whatever he drank, and it starts spreading, and boom, that's how our existence begins.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not really. Because of all the single-celled organisms that supposedly happened beforehand, and somehow we have the same exact genetic makeup that the engineers have, even though it went through a lot of different fucking things first.
Right.
Before it ever got to us.
Evolution.
Crazy. So I guess what was that? What was the first single? A sponge or something like that?
Yeah.
is considered one of the first single-celled organisms.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a science guy.
Me neither. Bill, Nye, the science guy. we'll have to bring him on to help us out. Break down Prometheus.
You got to listen to Bill Nye in Spanish. It's fucking hilarious. I found the intro. It's like, Bill, be nice científico. And it just fucking goes.
That's awesome.
And then they just do this weird voice for him in Spanish. They dub over him and shit. It's just fucking hilarious.
Yep, sounds about right.
Ah, good times. When I showed that to a couple guys at my work, they're like, they didn't even know it existed. And they're both Hispanic guys, one from Mexico, one from Honduras. And they didn't even know it existed. They're like, what the hell is that?
You've never heard of Bill Nye?
Oh, it was great. Well, one guy knew Bill Nye, but in English, he never knew that they did a Spanish. They didn't know. He didn't know they did a Spanish dubbing.
That's awesome.
Anyway, back to Alien Covenant,
Yes.
and not our fond memories of Bill Nye the Science Guy, who turns out to be a super liberal guy. He's always on some weird shit.
No.
Always thought that was kind of weird that he went from a children's TV show to like political activism type stuff.
Super.
So this is super. What the fuck? You gotta move up somehow.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, but anyway, back to the Alien movie.
Yeah.
So originally, it was the idea was it was a bio weapon. I thought that was kind of cool, but now it kind of just turned into a joke. Like, I don't know. It was kind of weird. Like, it's these eggs, and these guys sniff these eggs, and it becomes an airborne pathogen, and it gets into their body. You're kind of still getting these creatures out of them. See, originally in Prometheus, when the black goo was touching them, it was just destroying their body and making them into, like, zombies and shit like that. And this one's somehow becoming an airborne pathogen like it was in those little eggs, then it starts producing. So I'm thinking what they were trying to point out, because the robot with all the time in the world on his hands was planning these things throughout there, and it's one of his experiments.
Right.
And I think
he touches on that a little bit.
So I think that's the evolution of some of his experiments, from the pathogen, from the little chemical goo that it was that just killed people to now whatever the hell
whatever it was.
Yeah. And one of the things I was kind of confused about, because basically it shows that when David and Elizabeth Shaw, the one from Prometheus, they fly to the engineer's homeworld, and the whole point was to get answers of why we were here, why do they hate us all of a sudden, why do they want to destroy us. That was what's supposed to happen. But obviously David took it into his own hands from what we can see.
Yeah.
And left her sleeping, or killed her or some manner. I think they just left her sleeping, and because that's how it ends. Like, she sleeps and he's driving the...
Well, wasn't her body one of the... In this one, it was like ripped open.
Yeah, but into Prometheus, he puts her in one of those stasis pods to have her sleep, and he's flying the ship to the homeworld. So she could still have been sleeping while he's doing this, while he's fucking mad bombing the fuck out of all of them.
Oh, yeah.
And so it shows them mad bombing.
That's chemical warfare.
And this is what I mean by, yeah, seriously. And this is what I mean by this crew is possibly the stupid. There's these fucking bodies, these huge bodies that are just thrashed.
Yeah. Everywhere, and they're barely batting an eye. They're just gonna follow this guy because he said follow me. Right. They're like, okay, yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Come on, guys. You have a little bit of common sense.
Right. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
The whole movie just ended up kind of turning into that these guys were those teenagers from like all the old slasher movies.
Right.
From the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, they were just straight, and they were fucking. Hell yeah! Even they, at the end of the movie, they were too busy trying to fuck instead of worrying about what was around them.
Yeah,
and shit.
Exactly.
And then they died.
The alien out there. Yeah.
So they turned into 80s teenage fodder.
Yeah.
And it was
pretty much.
And that was the only thing that kind of took me out of it. It's like, hey, our guys are getting picked off one by one. Let's keep splitting up, you know?
I know. Every fucking time. Oh my gosh, thank you. That was driving me nuts. I'm like, are you kidding me? Every time someone leaves, they die. Yeah. So why would you continue to have one person leave?
Oh, I gotta go take a shower. Bitch, you're trying to survive, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to go fucking wander off and then, like, you've been seeing your friends die by this pathogen that's unexplained. Why are you dipping your arms, your open wounds into water? Yeah. You don't know what's going on.
Right.
It's just these guys don't seem to understand at all, like, how anything can be transmitted, apparently. Like,
they have no idea. They're just, like you said, they're ignorant and just wandering around, and, you know.
And the captain, he sees one of the dumbass woman, she's basically roasted, she's dead with a decapitated head. And how many times did they go back to her head just floating in?
Oh my god,
316. It's like they must have spent a lot of money on that head prop, and they're like, we're not gonna waste it.
we have to use it.
We have to get back. We're gonna keep showing that thing. It's gonna be in as much of this film as possible.
It cannot be like a quick glance, like bing, like slasher movie thing. It's gonna be shown 6 times.
Yeah, and it's just gonna keep floating around in the same circle. They probably use the same footage.
Probably
just rewound.
It's Superman 4.
Yeah. Yeah, the flying.
Him flying over and over again.
But I was like, God damn. And then the captain, the fucking all-knowing dickhead captain, is like, shoots the xenomorph or whatever it was, kills it, and then the fucking robot, the creepy robot that's been there for 10 years is just like, hey, I want something to show you.
Yeah.
Come follow me by yourself.
Follow me and completely trust me.
Yeah.
Like, why would you, if he was kind of talking to the thing, why would you trust him? And he even says, when they approach the egg, or when the captain approaches that giant ass egg, he's like, oh, it's safe, I assure you.
Yeah, look down in it.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and
that's fucking safe.
In our theater, it was happening the way I thought it should happen. Like, I don't know if it was supposed to be this moment. I don't know if the director pictured it as a moment of tension. But it wasn't. Our theater, people were laughing because he's like, look down in it. Look down in it. And like, everybody knows what's going to happen. So there was no moment of tension.
No. And
the guy's like, and like, how close can I get my face in there? Boom. And again, I'm trying not to be too negative on this at all. I'm really not.
We never went back to the positive.
We will. We'll transition back here shortly. The face hugger and the chemical thing, the timing, the time lapse that it takes for whatever this thing that happens to one of these people, it just seems to be random.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, the airborne pathogen affects one dude faster than the other guy.
Yeah.
And then the face hugger thing, it almost gets the captain, like, and it seems to affect him in like
2 seconds.
It happens so quickly.
And it's a newborn face hugger too.
Yeah. And then the other guy who gets the face hugger on him, it takes him hours before he gets back in the ship.
And it got pried off of him.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's why it was just a little bit of semen.
When his face fucking him. I guess, yeah.
So he only got 2 pumps chumped in. and so it didn't really kick in as fast as the other guy who had it on his face forever, I guess, or for an extra minute.
Yeah. Must have been.
Yeah. It was just little inconsistencies like that. They were trying to build tension, and they're trying to build these big moments, and they just kind of made it laughable because it didn't make sense at that point. It just didn't meet up. But again, it's kind of like the first Alien movie without any of the tension, if you really think about it. It's these guys, this crew gets directed by a signal, a distress signal that they think is a distress signal from the same type of ship almost. Yeah,
which they don't really... Do they talk about like why that thing was playing over and over again?
They were trying to... I think I heard or read something later on that David was using it to manipulate people to come to their...
Oh, okay.
And so
he was trying to get them...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I don't remember them ever covering that. They find it, and they go, okay, this must have been what was signaling us. But that was kind of it. They didn't really... At least from what I caught, they didn't touch on, why?
Right.
But I guess you can make that assumption.
Even though this movie didn't answer a lot of the questions we had from Prometheus, I felt like it did require you to kind of see Prometheus a little bit. Because one of your first questions that we came out was like, do they establish in Prometheus why David's such a dickhead?
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, the reason why I asked that is because to me, once they decided like, okay, this is where we're going to go, you can just, it was a very predictable movie.
Oh yeah.
And then when they add the David part, I didn't know he was a dick, and I still could kind of see how things were going to go. I could already kind of tell there was something about him, like, all right, there's something a little bit off. He's probably going to switch spots.
Yeah, it was like he's cutting his hair.
Yeah, so
it goes from blonde to brown.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. He was trying to make himself look like the other guy.
Yeah,
look like Marshall Walter. Thank you, Marshall. Marshall. So that's why I asked that question, because if you already knew that when you see him, you're like, oh, he's a fucking prick. So that would make it even more predictable. And you could tell that once they make it back to the ship, okay, that's fucking David. It's not the other guy, because they never show what happens at the end of the fight. Like, okay, come on. You know, it was really predictable. I guess that would be a negative for me. Not that I expected this to be any like huge thought-provoking or a crazy twist.
Well, there was some thought-provoking things, and that's actually go back to one of my positives. I actually thought pretty much any of the interaction, even though it was a tidbit creepy sometimes, any of the interaction between Walter and David I thought was very interesting.
Yeah. When
they're going back and forth, he starts telling Walter, he's like, they've already had their chance, you know, it's human society, humankind and stuff has already had their chance. Why do they need to build more? You know, we need to stop them now. And that's why he wants to get rid of the colonists. And they don't need to move on and reassimilate into another area and stuff like that. And he has a strong stance against this organic culture kind of thing.
Which is why he's creating the xenomorphs, because to him, he's like, okay, this is the perfect species. Yeah, exactly. Which that he can control, I guess.
I guess that's what he's trying to lead into, was that he can control them. The other thing I thought was kind of weird is we don't know how long these things can survive without a source. That was the other thing that was kind of weird for me, was they showed all those dead bodies of the engineers. And I swore I heard somebody say, oh, it looks like there's something blown out of them. And so I was like, okay, so that means there's 1,000 xenomorphs running around, and then they're gone. Like it's just weird. Like if they're so, because like think of an animal with a high metabolism. If they don't get food or they don't get something for they're just gonna die. So maybe they only have a lifespan of like what, a couple of weeks or something.
That could be what he was trying to change too, in the evolution of them. Which I thought that part was kind of thought provoking too, when he's talking about how he was testing different things and testing theories and stuff. So that was kind of cool. But for the most part, the plot, you could see it coming from a mile away.
It was super predictable, and I don't know again if this is just leading up another movie, because it's supposed to be called like Alien Awakening or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to figure it out. Eventually, we're supposed to get caught up to Alien, the first Alien.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know quite where we're gonna get there yet.
Yeah, you know that nothing really gets solved. It just keeps going, I guess.
Yeah, and where does he's got control of 2,000 colonists, and basically is somewhere around that number.
It was 2,000 and like 46 of them died in the first like little crash shit with the
it was like 2,000 something, and then 46 died. Because you made it sound like it was 2,046 died.
Oh,
you said it so quick.
Yeah, sorry. There were 2,000 and then 46 died.
Yeah. And because of their little sonic wave, which they never quite explained where that came from.
They just said it was just
an anomaly.
And it's unpredictable. So, Walter, I keep wanting to call him Marshall now. Walter can't predict it, so unfortunately, it's just shit's gonna happen. That was one of the really weird things. Is James Franco?
That's what I was about to get into. Apparently, he's in the movie.
Yeah, and it must be. And I recognized him when he was in the pod. I'm like, oh, shit.
You did?
Yeah,
I didn't.
Okay,
I'm just like, okay, this dude's getting torched.
Yeah,
who the fuck is he?
For me,
and then she plays the video, and I'm like, wait, was that supposed to be James Franco?
Yeah. I wonder if he just, because he's friends with I don't know his actual name, but the guy from Eastbound and Down who plays Tennessee. They've been in like each other's movies a lot, so he's like, hey, I'll get you a brief cameo in this, but it's gonna be very brief because you're gonna fucking die at the beginning, which they don't really know. His pod's the only one that gets torched. I don't think anyone else's did, and he happened to be the captain. So I'm like, okay, that's fair. But as soon as it showed him, I was like, shit, I don't remember seeing James Franco, and I recognized him immediately. And then he gets torched. I'm like, oh, that's why I didn't see James Franco in the trailers.
Well, actually, you kind of do. Like, I don't know. It was Danny McBride, by the way, is Tennessee.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you.
And I was actually kind of looking at it. I'm like, wow, I did see one today, I think. Where they were showing him like walking around inside the ship and stuff like that. And I'm like, wait, was that something that was cut out of the movie?
Oh, must have been.
And we didn't get to see the movie, because it basically starts off with them in the pods,
right?
And he gets torched, he gets cooked, and then it shows
tragedy struck already,
and you don't even know why she's crying. You can assume that he's probably their boyfriend or husband, and then she's watching a video, and I'm like, is James Franco her husband or boyfriend, or is it the two guys that are falling down in the background? Like who which one is her husband? Which one's giving her to the dick? I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, but the thought of that took me out of the moment. The thought of James Franco leading an entire crew was a little disturbing. Alas, this is the issue with the movie and why they were so dumb.
Probably. Oh my god. A couple other things, and again, we're not shitting on the movie. You'll hear in our scores. It was. I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed it thoroughly because,
Yeah.
you know, for some reasons, and I'll explain it later.
Well, now I'm kind of interested about your scores. We'll see when we get there.
But one of the other things I just wanted to make fun of, because there's these little things that you just, I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna do them completely, or don't do them at all. But when Walter and David are fighting, or Marshall, whatever you want to call him, and
Yeah.
and he gets stabbed in the neck. He gets stabbed in the neck by the flute or whatever that is, a recorder.
Yeah.
By a fucking recorder, and he drops. Then he heals, and I was like, well, if he can heal the hole in his neck, why can't he heal his fucking hand? And that was
Yeah, I thought that exact same thing, because to me I was like, oh, he's like, you're the Terminator 2 fan here. What the fuck
T-1000?
is- Thank you, T-1000. Hey, that's exactly what it reminded me of. But I'm like, well, why is his hand still all burnt off? That's
Yeah.
weird.
So you can't bring
Yeah.
that back.
Yeah, and
I don't
then
know.
he also happens to get his ass kicked, I guess, just like the T-1000. So the original is always better, clearly, in two different universes.
And then that was another point I wanted to bring up, some of the cool dialogue between those two when they're talking about models and what the creators and their duty to what they're doing. Is it love? Or is it duty? Is it what they're doing? And I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That distinguishing nature between AIs, they're competing against each other.
Yeah,
I did think that was pretty sweet.
yeah.
But ultimately, that stupid twist at the end, with it supposedly just being David the whole time
Right.
at the end, I thought that was really...
That was supposed to be a twist.
Yeah, I guess so. It was pretty fucking obvious from a mile away, but you know, it was cool. It was cool. I liked the movie, and and it actually, I don't know, I kind of liked it more just because I saw Guardians of the Galaxy the night before. I know that sounds really weird, but to go from a kind of a weird green screen fest, colorful, bright, kind of lame movie to go to this one where it's darker blood and just more realistic.
Yeah.
It really kind of got me stoked. I really did like the movie.
Yeah, I like to. I don't even know if this was shot on location or if it was green screen. You know, as far
a lot
as like
of location. He doesn't
okay,
do a lot of green screen.
okay, because well, it was wherever they were was phenomenal. And
Right.
I like the
Probably
scenery,
Australia.
the CGI. Yeah, probably.
Everything's on Australia.
Yeah, I like the CGI. A lot of the action was really cool.
Right.
The storyline's the big hang up for me.
Yeah, if you shut your brain off.
right.
If you shut your brain off and you just shove it with popcorn.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
it-
sit back and kind of enjoy the
Yeah,
moments, the
yeah,
built
sure.
up things, and
Yeah,
maybe some moments of tension and scariness for some people, maybe.
maybe. Well, actually, not maybe. The guy next to me.
Yeah.
But just with throw up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh shit. And I just started laughing.
I thought it was you.
Right.
So the guy next to Shane was apparently spouting off every time something
Oh,
happened.
yeah, all the time. Like the entire movie, it was wow, oh shit, damn. Like, and I think he was Hispanic or white, so not to get too stereotypical, but he wasn't black. Like, oh damn, but he kept doing.
Way to go,
that.
Shane. Way to go.
Hey, stereotypes exist. I'm a nerdy white cracker. It exists.
He drank a vitamin water just to fulfill that.
Yeah, there we go. After my Starbucks.
Yeah.
I'm just describing a white chick now. Damn it.
I knew I was on a date.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess people were surprised by certain things.
We did watch this in Atmos, and if you have like an Atmos, or I don't even know if Atmos is something outside of this city or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
We talk about it, but it's basically kind of like an IMAX, but not necessarily an IMAX.
Right.
It gives you that full surround sound type feel and everything. they really pump in the sound. The screen's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But
which is awesome.
Yeah.
You can really tell the difference if you listen to some of our other reviews. I'll always bring it up. Like, man, you really notice when all the sound is coming out of little tweeters at the very front is almost what it sounds like. Not that normal theater sound is horrible, but you can definitely tell the difference. And when we've done Atmos for Guardians of the Galaxy, Jurassic World, I think, for this one,
yeah,
I don't think Batman versus Superman we ever made it to, but that would have been a cool one. You can really tell the difference. It just kind of puts you in the world. When we went and saw Guardians, I think it was, we were the last row, and you can really hear just the scene, the stuff that's supposed to be behind you, and and how sounds kind of move from speaker to speaker is awesome. So if you can, definitely go see it in an Atmos
or whatever you have. Like,
yeah,
as long as it's non 3D, but it has like an IMAX experience in it. I don't even know if Alien Covenant is in 3D, but I doubt it.
Yeah, hopefully not. I like how, by the way, how we were like, yeah, this is definitely like maybe a DVD movie, and then we're like, you gotta go see it in Atmos.
Well, if you can get that Atmos experience, the matinee,
yeah.
And like I said, if you want to see the matinee, try to get it in a surround sound type Sirius Atmos or IMAX type thing, because it was awesome.
Yeah,
the ambient noise, the surrounding of everything that was going on was pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So let's give our scores for Alien Covenant. Go ahead, Shane.
So I'm gonna give it a 2.6 out of 5. I enjoyed the movie a lot. What?
Go ahead.
For me, I did enjoy the movie. There wasn't a whole lot where I like walked out of there like, yeah, kind of like gung. It was just like my wheels were turning. Maybe if I saw it a second time, or if I seen Prometheus, maybe that would kind of fill some things in for me. But yeah, I was just kind of like, all right, well, it is what it is. A lot of it is what I was expecting. The acting was pretty good. Like we talked about the scenery and the CGI. But at the end of the day, that's not enough. Like when you don't get too much story in there, the story was it was just weird. I just couldn't wrap my head around like, okay, this is what they're trying to go with. So, so I gave it a 2.6. It's middle ground.
All right.
3.9?
No, I give it a 2.5 out of 5.
Oh, really?
Because I'm kind of going off half the movie. I liked it all half the movie type thing, and that's why I thought yours was going to be lower. I thought yours was gonna...
Well, I enjoyed enough of it.
I might see it again. I don't know.
I thought yours was going to be higher. That's why I said, it'll be interesting when we get to that.
You went from Prometheus to where it was all story based, and you're getting this great lore built story, to this one where they kind of like kicked the story to the curb.
Yeah. And
they were trying to bring back the aliens because people wanted aliens from Prometheus.
Right.
And I kind of felt like it killed their build up from Prometheus. Like, if you're going to make Prometheus and you're going to make this a sequel, then you got to have answers for Prometheus.
Right.
And that's what I mean. I couldn't shut my brain off for this.
Yeah.
Like that really bugged me that they didn't. They totally skipped over what was the whole point of Prometheus. And they just had him dive bomb the shit out of it. And I thought that was a much better story if we would have learned about the engineers. And I'm sure that's not the end of them. I'm sure they're not all of them are just in this one little city.
Right.
And there's probably more out there. They've
colonized the whole planet.
Yeah, they're advanced beings. They made us apparently in this series. So I'm sure there's somewhere else too. But it just seemed kind of weird that I don't know. They just kind of skipped over that whole fucking thing, and then the inconsistencies with the chest bursters and the spine bursters and all that chemical shit, and then the stupidity of the crew. That just bugged me. That just really got to me. Like, it almost became comical, and I'm not kidding.
Almost. It did.
Well, yeah.
Like Matt touched on earlier, people were laughing when you're not supposed to.
And then near the beginning of the movie, when the first spine burster pops out. And like it just becomes a Three Stooges skit.
Yeah,
it just becomes.
It really does.
Just fucking
just shooting at the ceiling.
Just a rated R Three Stooges moment because there's a lot of blood, but they just keep sliding on the blood.
Yeah.
They just keep.
That's why I was like, fucking pay attention.
Yeah.
Like, that there's blood everywhere. Why would you go in there and just be guns a-blazing, I guess.
Shotgun up.
Yeah.
Finger on the trigger. Just fucking going.
Yeah.
And then
this was definitely a surface level type enjoyment. Yeah. If you like, the aliens that we were talking about, the CGI, a lot of the guns, you
Right.
know, the alien jumping around killing people. That's pretty cool. I can enjoy that. The
Yeah.
sound, the scenery, but that's
The
surface.
visuals, I
Yeah.
always go back to the visuals.
Yeah.
Were fantastic.
Yeah.
But even going back to that part where the first spine burster pops out, the woman that's trapped in there with the guy, like the little thing comes flying out and she just front kicks the shit out of it.
Right.
And it goes up against the thing. And if that was me, I'd be like, well, fuck you. And I could just lay down, front kick the shit out of you and you go flying.
Right.
I'm like, I'd get up and be like, I can whip your monkey
Yeah,
ass, you know? But no,
exactly.
she just lays there. And then it just does the same thing again, runs at her, but
Right.
this time gets on her face and
Yeah.
just scratches
yeah,
at her.
Yeah.
And
and
she's like, stop it!
She's done
Stop
basically. Well, and I liked that when she wants out of there at one point, he's convulsing and she's like, let me fucking out of here. Then she decides to go hug him when the thing shoots out of the
I
back.
forgot about that.
I'm like, what? 2 fucking seconds ago, you're like, you don't want anything to do with him at all. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna die together. I don't know. So it's just weird.
Hugs make the world better.
Yeah. And then, ah!
And then the reality comes setting in.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a message to hippies. I don't know. I don't know.
Hugs don't solve anything. You're actually gonna die.
So those parts just really brought it down for me. But I did enjoy the visuals. I did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a little bit more, I think, because of Guardians of the Galaxy the night before, as I
Yeah.
said. But yeah, really, it's about half the movie. It's 2.5 out of 5 marks. You know.
All right.
Don't think of it as a percentage. It's not a percentage. It's a
No.
score. I liked
Yeah.
half the movie.
Right.
Hopefully, if they really build off of something in the next one, which is supposed to be called Alien Awakening, like I said before, then maybe this will go up if it actually had a point to it.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, it was just to show off cool aliens.
Yeah,
And his visual effects.
I can kind of see where the third one's gonna go, and maybe they're just gonna get like a swarm of all of these
Maybe Predators will
aliens
come
and
back.
stuff. That'd be pretty sweet. They are in the same universe.
Dun, dun, dun. It's 1999 all again,
Yeah,
or whatever the hell that came out.
yeah, 2002 maybe.
Somewhere
I don't
around
know.
there.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Me neither. We're not gonna look it up either.
No, fuck that.
we'll leave that to you.
Yeah, PG-13 in an alien predator
know.
movie. What the
Seriously.
fuck is wrong with you people?
I still enjoyed it. That is a surface level teen gore fest. Well,
would
not
go
really gore
gore
fest.
fest,
Yeah, that was misspoken, but just awesome.
It was just good versus. So.
Yes, yeah.
So make sure you check out our YouTube page at Comic Movie Marks. We're getting a little bit of build going there.
Yep.
I don't quite know what's going on.
We may have some videos that we put up and we're excited about that get taken down. So
Yeah,
just,
it's still happening again.
Yeah.
As soon as we start feeling a little momentum about YouTube, and we're like, okay, maybe this will work, and boom. Thor got taken down.
Yeah.
So because ACDC's a bunch of dickheads.
yeah,
And so
yeah, pretty much.
I gotta have my song in the trailer, man. All right.
But then you can't use it anywhere.
Fuck you. It's not like these idiots are gonna.
Right.
They're just gonna use our song. For,
Yeah, they're gonna steal it.
yeah.
That's been used everywhere all the time.
It's getting ridiculous. Well,
Yeah.
you'll hear about it more in the intro.
Yes.
Which happened before this. So,
Or did it?
dun, dun, dun. It's Alien Prometheus all over again.
Yeah.
What happened first?
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube page. We have like 30, 33, 34 subscribers, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're starting to get some interaction. We really appreciate that. I
Right.
like the back and forth with people who comment. We had actually met the guy who gave us the iTunes review, commented on YouTube as well, and then I said, hey, if you have a chance, review us on iTunes. I already did. Okay.
Well, we know who you
well,
are.
thank you. Yeah,
Because we don't have very many of those.
So we appreciate
So make sure
it.
you review us on iTunes.
Perfect
Okay.
segue.
We got into detail about this in our intro, but we'll do it here too as well.
Yes.
About iTunes. So iTunes it turns out to be a tricky bitch
Yeah.
when it
very.
comes to reviews.
to try to review shit.
Yeah. So make sure if you want to give us an iTunes review, which you should, because we need this. Even if you're an Android user, sign up for iTunes.
Yes.
And what you got to do is, even if you're subscribed to us, make sure you just search us first.
Yeah.
And it'll have details, review, and something else I don't give a shit about. But that middle one says review.
Related, maybe.
I don't give a
Yeah.
shit about it. The middle one is the one you want.
Yes.
It says review.
Yeah, so when you go into it, or if you're an iPhone user or an Apple user as well, as Matt was saying, when you go into the app, it is very misleading, because if you are subscribed and you have your list of podcasts, off to the side, there's a search button. You have to search and pull up the podcast again. And they're actually, once you pull it up, you can't click on us. There's all podcast episodes, and podcasts. You have to click on podcasts. That
Oh,
will pull up the. We should probably have a tutorial that will go viral. But you have to click on the all podcasts. Then that kind of gives like the synopsis of, okay, as if you were finding it for the first time. Which I don't know why they do it that way, because if you're reviewing it, you've obviously listened to it. Then you click on reviews. You can write a review that way. So it's convoluted, it's a mess, but find it, do it.
Please.
Yes.
Please. We need it so bad.
Yes.
And make sure you check us out on iTunes.
Or in the Google Play
Store.
And
if
at
you-
Comic Movie Marks.
If you're an Android user and you have to use the Google Play Store, search Podcast Republic and goddamn piece of paper. I keep hitting that thing.
the damn piece of paper that's supposed to tell us the bullet points we're supposed to hit, that we're just all over the place with.
And make sure you search up in the Google Play Store, type in Podcast Republic. That is the easiest podcast app to download Comic Movie Marks podcast. But then go to iTunes, log into iTunes on your desktop computer.
Yes.
Make up an account. I don't care what it says. It has, I don't even know what I said. Whatever. That's the easy app to find.
Podcast Republic.
But then go to iTunes, go to your desktop,
yes.
make sure you sign up. I don't care what the name says. It could be whatever, Hitler 220, Hitler 220, I don't give a shit, or whatever, 420. I don't give a fuck.
220.
10, 10, 220. All right. If you want to show your age, type in 10, 10, 321 or 10, 10, 220.
I like it. 1-800-COLLECT.
Collect, kids. It was a time where people didn't want to pay phone bills, so they would pass it off to somebody else instead.
Yeah, pretty much. You have a collect call from Matt.
Do you accept? No.
Oh, man.
And I was left in prison. All right.
Yes. So please review us on iTunes. Don't get left in prison. What was next? Also,
Social
please,
media.
Yes, please check us out on all social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Which Instagram's slowly climbing. We've kind of hit like this crawl, but it's still going. Find us on there. You can follow us along.
Facebook seems to
great.
have a little bit of a build lately. I've noticed
Yeah,
that.
random.
Yeah.
It's posts are getting shared. As soon as I shit on them, they must have heard. We start.
Piece of shit. Got more copyright bullshit than fucking
fucking
YouTube.
YouTube, yeah, which is horrible because YouTube has a lot.
Oh,
But we are at Comic Movie Marks, all social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So not all social media, just those three, the important ones. Actually, we've gotten a little bit from like Blue Little Eyes or something like that on Twitter. They've been liking a lot of things, and
yeah.
So yeah, got a little bit of love on there too. We like it. We're all over
Random
the
Twitter post.
place. Yeah.
Like, that shit comes out of nowhere.
It
It was like all in this one moment. We just started getting these reviews and these likes and shit like that all in this one moment. It was fucking
we're
random
like,
as
fuck,
shit.
we did it. We're somewhere.
We
Nope.
We broke the glass ceiling in and it went right back down. See, this is why we need a visual podcast.
Yeah, I know. For when Matt drops his chair.
I was hoping my voice would go with it. Yeah. In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.